Hey mathematicians, Miss Brennan here. I just wanted to do a small video to show and explain a little bit more about how we look at fractions of a set as division and as multiplication. So the problem that I'm going to look at is 2/3 of 6. Okay, and the way that we have been solving that is we first identify the set. So I would say that 6 is the set, and the denominator of 3 tells me how to partition. So I'm going to partition that 6 into 3 parts. So here's my tape diagram. The whole set is 6. I'm partitioning it into 3 parts. We'll pretend that those are equal. And I want to try to find out what 2/3 of that 6 is. So what I will do is I'll take the 6 and I will partition it or divide it into 3 parts. And I will know that each part is equal to 2. So the unit, okay, that first piece, that 1/3, is equal to the number 2. Okay, so this part is 2. The next part is 2, and the final part is 2. So if I'm trying to figure out 2/3 of 6, it's like saying I have 2 copies of 1/3, which in this case is 2. So 2 times 2 equals 4. So I know that 2/3 of 6 is equal to 4. I can even see that back in my picture. There's the 4, 2/3 out of 6. So there is thinking about fractions of a set. Now I'm going to try to take that same idea and apply it to multiplication. Alright, so now instead of thinking of it as 2/3 of 6, I'm going to change it a little bit, and now I'm going to look at 2/3 times 6. Okay, and what I really want to think about when I think of 2/3 times 6 is I want to think about 6 copies of 2/3. Okay, so I'm going to now draw you 6 copies of 2/3. Okay? Okay, so to do that first, I'm going to make 1, and I'll partition it into 3 parts. And then I'll make another 1. So now I have 2. I'll partition that into 3 parts, because remember, I'm counting by thirds, by 2/3. Okay, then I'll make 3. So now, let's see how far I've gone. So I have 2/3 here. There's one group of 2/3. Here's another group of 2/3. Here's another group of 2/3. Here's 4 groups of 2/3. Alright, I probably got another hole. Here's 5 groups of 2/3. And now finally, I have 6 copies of 2/3. Okay, and I'm just going to shade in the first 2/3. Actually, maybe I'll shade in every other so you can really see it. Okay, so now you can hopefully see my 6 copies of 2/3, and you'll notice, hopefully, that I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 6 copies of 2/3 equals 4 total. So 2/3 times 6 ended up being the same thing as 2/3 of 6. So if I'm thinking about this, how many thirds is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12 thirds, or 4 wholes. I can represent that as 2 of the 2/3 times 6. 12 thirds. So hopefully that, which equals 4. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more clarification on how our of, remember the of from way back here, is related to the times. Okay, so 2/3 of 6 is the same as saying 2/3 times 6. Good luck!